We have to talk about the Denver Nuggets, who are currently down 3-1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round. And we have seen many teams in the past bounce back from being down 3-1. The Denver Nuggets have done it before with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, but this is a completely different situation here. This Nuggets team has been downright terrible so far in this series, especially on the defensive end. After they lost game 2 to Minnesota, you have Jaden McDaniels with that team. He is calling out the defense of the Denver Nuggets. He told the reporter, it's pretty simple, go at all their bad defenders. And he listed them off by name. Usually you'll have a player, you may say that he's cocky or arrogant. He may just say, hey, they're a terrible defensive team. He listed off the players that were terrible defenders. Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Cameron Johnson. He said, we go at them, we have a great chance at winning. So you would think, after he said that to a reporter, that the Denver Nuggets would come out in game 3 with more defensive effort. That was not the case. They lost this game 113-96. They got completely destroyed in the second half. And this all started a few years ago when they fired Mike Malone as their head coach. And this is not a video to say that Mike Malone is his all-time great head coach. And this is not a video to say that Mike Malone should have been with the Denver Nuggets forever. He did have a lot of flaws as a head coach. Every coach does. But it's night and day. When you look at this team, when he was the head coach to now with David Adelman, he actually had a game plan on the defensive end around the weaknesses with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic because they are terrible defenders. He was able to rotate players over and help out Jokic inside the paint. You don't see that right now. On the offensive end, they had structure. You ran pick and roll with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, but you had players cutting on the back end like Aaron Gordon, and the same with MPJ putting pressure on the rim. If Nikola Jokic needed a breather for 5 to 6 minutes in a game, that's fine. He also had a game plan that was revolved around Jamal Murray and his skill set. You don't see that right now with David Adelman. It's a bunch of pick and rolls with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. If that doesn't work out, they don't have anything else to run. Christian Braun has been a non-factor in this series. Defensively, he's been terrible. Offensively, he's been a no-show. And the same with Cameron Johnson. They traded Michael Porter Jr. to bring him in. They wanted that contract off the books, and you would think in theory, you bring in Cameron Johnson, who's a solid player with the Brooklyn Nets, good defender over there, can take advantage of mismatches. That hasn't been the case so far in this series. Going back to game 1, the Denver Nuggets won this game 116-105. They shot 28% from the three, 44% from the field. Just a terrible shooting night for the Denver Nuggets. Is going to happen to every single team in the postseason. You're not going to be automatic in every single game. I fully get that, but at least you're able to come away with the win. But at the same time here, if you pay attention, Rudy Gobert, we're talking about Rudy Gobert here, who is a great defender. Rudy Gobert had a very good game on the offensive end. The man had 18 points. That's an offensive masterclass by Rudy Gobert. He's going at Nikola Jokic inside the paint. They allowed 54 points in the paint. Minnesota was making a comeback at the beginning of the fourth quarter, but towards the end of the game, they just could not knock down their shots. And Nikola Jokic did have a very good game 1. In 40 minutes, 25 points, 11-19 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. 13 points, 11 rebounds. He did have 5 turnovers. But that's a Jokic type of game. He's a video game player coming to life. He's a point guard at the center position. Controls the offense, gets a bunch of rebounds, can finish at the rim. He's a phenomenal offensive player in the regular season. It's the reason why this man was able to go out there and get 3 regular season MVPs, has a finals MVP, and won a championship against Miami a few years ago. Can't take that away from him. But since then, since that game, Nikola Jokic has been terrible in this series, and give Rudy Gobert his flowers. He's proving why he's one of the best defensive players to step foot in NBA history. In game 2, the Denver Nuggets were up by 14 points. Now, I know we're talking about today's NBA. They shoot a lot of threes. You should be able to close out that lead. When you have Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, they blew that lead and they lost 119-114. Anthony Edwards had 30 points. Julius Randle had 24 points. Jaden McDaniels had 14 points. Naz Reid had 11 points. And the Denver Nuggets shot 44% from the field, 37% from 3. But this is one of the biggest difference here. Nikola Jokic, did not perform well. 24 points, 8 of 20 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. He did have 3 turnovers. You have 24 points on 20 shot attempts. And he tried the foul bait towards the end of the game, but it didn't work out in his favor. They let the players go out there and they let them play. Jamal Murray, on the other hand, you would think, okay, what is he doing? Is he stepping up? Because in game 1, he did have 30 points, but was 7 of 22 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. And he had 16 points at the free throw line. In today's NBA media, especially on social media, you have so many fans, they'll call out SGA with OKC, and they'll say he's a foul baiter, he gets to the free throw line, even though that is a skill. You have to call out the other players and keep the same energy for them. So Jamal Murray in game 1 wasn't a good game for him. In game 2, 30 points once again, 11 of 25 from the field, 6 of 14 from 3. 7 rebounds, 7 assists, had 4 turnovers, costly turnovers in the fourth quarter. But you should have won this game. If you win the first 2 games at Denver, you're up 2-0 going into Minnesota. You have to close out that game. This is a group effort here. This is on the players, and this is also on the coach that you cannot close out this game. More so on the players in this situation because you've been here before. This is not the first time that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray have been to the postseason. You know what it takes to go out there and to close out games. But it's this Timberwolves team. Going to game 3, no Aaron Gordon, who is their best defensive player by far, but he's dealt with a lot of injuries. Hamstring injuries, calf injury, which he's dealing with right now, and knee injuries. Part of that is because of all the high flying that he did with the Orlando Magic. But he's a very good basketball player. And since you didn't have him on the defensive end in game 3, it really showed up. How many points that you allowed in the paint? 68 points in the paint is ridiculous. They shot 34% from the field, 25% from 3. And plus minus, Rudy Gobert was a plus 21. Nikola Jokic was a minus 21. If I would have told you that 4 months ago, you would have laughed at me and you would have told me you don't know basketball. But that's the case here. He's getting outplayed by Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is doing his job defensively. Nikola Jokic in game 3, 27 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists. But listen to the shooting numbers. 7 of 26 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3. 0 points in the fourth quarter. 0 points. So now you put that pressure on Jamal Murray. And guess what Jamal Murray did in this game? Jamal Murray, 16 points, 5 of 17 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3. Has 7 free throws. And you have Jaden McDaniels picking him up full court. Frustrates the hell out of him. He's getting silly fouls now. Anthony Edwards playing great on the defensive end, and the same with Dante DiVincenzo. They're harassing the guards here because they're not physical enough to get past the court. They're trying to pass the basketball up the court to Nikola Jokic. They can't get the basketball to him. They're denying up front with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. They're trying to get to the rim. It's not working out. The pick and roll game isn't working. So what is David Adelman doing as the head coach with the Denver Nuggets? You're not taking advantage of the mismatch opportunities here if you are Cameron Johnson. You have smaller guards on you and you're not pulling the jump shot here. Now, MPJ, he had a lot of moments that'll just make you shake your head. He'll take a lot of contested jump shots. I could tell you right now, if they had him on this roster, he's shooting over a 6'5" shooting guard. Cameron Johnson does not. And the same with Christian Brown. They're giving the basketball right back to Jokic. So if Jokic and Jamal Murray, if they're not going out there and they're not carrying the team on the offensive end, they've been completely exposed. And with Aaron Gordon being hobbled, it's only so much that he can do. We know that he's a definition of a 3-and-D player, can put a lot of pressure on the rim. But since his hamstring has been hurt in the past, he's now dealing with his calf injury, he can't put that pressure on the rim. And it's up to someone else to step up. Tim Hardaway did have one good game in this series. Besides that, he's been a non-factor. And once again, it goes back to this argument. He's a terrible defensive player. Christian Brown, a $125 million contract that he currently has. He has been downright awful in this series. In game 1, he had 12 points in 36 minutes. Game 2, 16 points, played better. Terrible defensively, horrible. down the stretch. Have Jaden McDaniels going straight at him, and the same with Anthony Edwards. In game 3, he had 2 points. He didn't even attempt a field goal in the second half. Went to the free throw line to get those points. And in game 4, no Dante DiVincenzo for majority of the game, no Anthony Edwards, and you still lose this game. Ayo Dosunmu comes off the bench, who was wasting away with the Chicago Bulls. 43 points, 5 of 5 from 3. On 17 shot attempts, he was 12 of 17 because you can't stop anybody. And you can say, well, you know what? It's one game. He got lucky. He's been toasting his team over the last 2 games coming off the bench. And now he will be a starter because the injuries with Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards. They're missing 2 of their best players on the perimeter. It should be easy for the Denver Nuggets to close out this game, but they just couldn't do it. And you have Nikola Jokic. He's upset with Jaden McDaniels because he scores the basketball with just a couple of seconds left. And it's this unwritten rule in the NBA. You don't score when you're up big. If it's just a couple of seconds left, just dribble the shot clock out or just dribble the regulation time out. Fully get it. That's been the case for decades now. But at the same time here, you ran down court. You get an unnecessary technical foul because you're upset that the Timberwolves are beating you that bad. If you're that upset about it, do something about it in game. I don't understand these NBA players. How many times have we seen players go down with injuries and immediately they inbound the basketball, we have numbers, let's go score. But all of a sudden you have a morality code when it comes to the game. Let's not score when you're already up enough. Let's have some sportsmanship. But you don't have sportsmanship when a player's dealing with his injury? I guarantee you, if Anthony Edwards had gotten injured and the Denver Nuggets got the inbound the basketball, they're going to say, hey, we have numbers. Let's go score. I lost some respect there for Nikola Jokic. And now it's this whole investigation with the NBA. They're not going to suspend him. He's a superstar player, especially in the postseason. They didn't even suspend LaMelo Ball for when he tripped up Bam. They just gave him a fine. But if you're going to have all that fight over a dumb rule that's unwritten, have all that fight in game. Show some defensive effort. If you are Nikola Jokic, who's been getting dominated inside the paint by Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, and Jaden McDaniels. There's no rim protection. 0. And I also bring up this point with David Adelman once again. What was the reason of going out there and getting Jonas Valanciunas? Jonas Valanciunas was supposed to come in and be an anchor for when Nikola Jokic needed a breather or play him alongside Nikola Jokic to have a bigger body if Aaron Gordon was dealing with an injury. But you're not playing him at all. And they are missing a very valuable player in Peyton Watson. But Peyton Watson, he's not going to come in and just be this true difference maker to help out this defense and to help out this offense. So if the Denver Nuggets do bounce back from being down 3-1, a lot of it has to do with the injuries with Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, so many people have been killing Kevin Durant over the last few years, myself included. But if this was any other star player that was in this position, you go against a lower seed. There were championship aspirations for the Denver Nuggets this year when they made that move to move off of Michael Porter Jr. to bring in Cameron Johnson. If this was LeBron, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, the media would kill them. But when it comes to Nikola Jokic, they make excuses. Well, the team's not good enough. Mike Malone, he's always going out there. He's barking at his players. He holds them to a different standard. Isn't that what a head coach is supposed to do? He called out the Denver Nuggets in the past. He was saying, hey, they're not watching film because if they would catch on to these adjustments I'm trying to implement in my game plan. And reportedly, it was a lot of friction with him in the locker room. Imagine you being upset with your head coach because he's telling you, hey, you're not watching film because if you were, you'll make adjustments the way that I want you to. Imagine players getting upset about that. And it's not me saying that this man was just this great head coach that should have held on to him for the next 15 to 20 years. But if they're going to have this type of energy for Mike Malone, you have to have the same energy for David Adelman. If they lose the next game with no Anthony Edwards and no Dante DiVincenzo, major changes have to be made. And unfortunately, one of those changes that have to be made is going to be Aaron Gordon. For the simple fact, he can't stay healthy. He's always banged up in the postseason over the last few years. But I'm not going to let Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray escape from the criticism with how terrible they have been defensively. You don't just go out there and just get the rod off of offensive numbers. The national media has killed Luka year in and year out for his time with the Dallas Mavericks and now with the Lakers. He's not durable enough. He's terrible defensively. He's a cone. Even though Luka has played better defensively, especially in the passing lane, Jokic has been downright horrendous defensively for many years now, but people are just not paying attention. The reason why Jokic was able to get away with terrible defensive efforts in the past, he's going against undersized centers like Bam Adebayo in the postseason a few years ago. You look at the Western Conference now, Rudy Gobert, main center in Minnesota. The San Antonio Spurs, they have a monster at center and Victor Wembanyama. The OKC Thunder, every single player with that team plays great defense. That's why they got bullied last year by OKC in Game 7. They're weak defensively. And when that offense can't carry them, this is what happens. There's still a chance that they can come back because of the injuries in Minnesota. But if they do, they may get knocked out in the second round. You can't out-rebound the Minnesota Timberwolves. You don't have more grit than them. And your head coach isn't even in the same conversation with Chris Finch. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Denver Nuggets and this situation? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, we want each and every last one of you guys to stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.